Metal. Joseph?
How you doing, sir? Am I on?
Hi. Yes, you are, actually. We can hear you.
Hey, guys. How you doing, man? I'm really glad to be on. I love your guys' show. I used to be a Christian rapper in Seattle and full-on Christian, and I started wanting to go to seminary school, start looking into studying the Word of God, and I actually got a hold of Bart Ehrman's book on accident, and it showed me the contradictions, which led me into questioning, like I always have my whole life, and kind of led me into doing my own study for the last year, kind of like you guys do, like you did when you became an atheist, and start studying more on the Word of God, probably more than the Christians actually do.
You know what it is the devil influence of rap led you astray.
That must be it, yeah.
You thought it was safe to dabble in it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said the devil influence of rap actually led you astray, even though you thought it was safe because it was Christian rap.
Exactly. The devil throws darts at you, and that's what my friends are all telling me. I go, yeah, right, he probably threw the church in, too, at the dart.
I knew it.
So anyway, I wanted to say something to you guys. I've been listening to everybody talk about evolution, and I was wondering, I was watching a show that all dogs actually derive from the gray wolf. And as the show was going on, they actually showed that a gray wolf couldn't be domesticated from a baby wolf on up, because by the second or third month, the wolf would actually start jumping on the table and actually start acting wild again, and it couldn't actually tame the thing. But some people in Russia actually took a bunch of wolves and segregated them and actually raised them up from babies over years. And within 5 or 10 years or 15 years, I think it's been 50 years in the mix now, these dogs, the wolves actually start changing shape. Their noses start changing. They actually start looking like dogs. After a long period of time, they start actually, I actually saw it on TV where the wolves are actually starting to change.
How many generations does this take? A long period
of time of domestication.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself, I always hear these guys say these monkeys don't turn into humans. However, it's the same thing as the gray wolf. You don't see gray wolves turning into dogs in the woods. It takes a long period of time for the gray wolf to actually be domesticated. I just wanted to get that out there, and I also wanted to say, too, if the church is listening right now down in Austin, you guys talk about transitional forms. That I always read in the Bible, Ezekiel 1:4 and a bunch of other locations where they're always talking about transitional forms, where the guy had the head of a human and the arms of a wings of an eagle and the legs of a calf, and all these transitional forms in the Bible. It seems as if the Bible talks more about things that are mixed with animals than the evolutionists do.
It was a creepy time, wasn't it?
Isn't that true?
Well, hang on, we're feeding back again.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. Just a little bit of feedback over your last thing. Yeah, well, the Bible was written during a pre-scientific and very strange time. It would have been a time in human history that would be completely alien to us and our way of thinking. So it's certainly not surprising that there are a lot of things in that book that are just patently bizarre when you read them.
Of course, a creationist would say about the wolf example that, the wolf is still a wolf. You cannot cross kinds, which is interesting because there is no scientifically recognized term kinds.
Yeah, it's not actual taxonomical.
We know, like, there's Linnaean classification like species and genus and family, but even those are considered by scientists to be extremely blurry because, I mean, the definition of species is basically something that can't or won't interbreed with any other species, but even that gets blurry because like, actually, there are grasshoppers which are considered different species because they play different kinds of songs that don't attract each other. And so they would be physically capable of interbreeding, but they don't.
Yeah. Another thing about the whole, this confusion. Go ahead.
That wasn't the subject I haven't been able to get a hold of you guys for 2 months, so I'm kind of excited. I wanted to give you guys some information. You guys got a pen and paper on you?
Okay, yeah.
I have a computer.
I want you to write this down. I hear a lot of atheists calling in, and they always want to argue against these Christians because I debate against them all the time. I'm pretty much pull the big guns out on them when I come to a debate too. But write this down. Write down Skeptic Annotated Bible.
Oh yeah, we go there all the time.
Yeah, skepticsannotatedbible.com.
You get that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, and I also wanted to say one thing. You know, when they say God. If we had a creator, you guys always mention God having a creator. If you really look at what words are utterances, noises, and symbols that describe thoughts, feelings, and experiences that men created or some kind of object. So if you take the word God and you write it on a piece of paper, you can't write the word first and then put the action and the experience and the thought to the word. You actually have to have the thought, the feeling, and the experience first before you have a symbol to describe these things, or an object like a king or an idol before they actually decided to start praying to some god that didn't exist, or an invisible god in the sky. So I always say, if you want me to show you where God really came from, I'll write it down on a piece of paper. This symbol came from our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. So let me show you how to get rid of them. You turn the eraser around and erase God off the board and say, now where's your God? And I look at these guys that I'm debating against, and I say, now you're only stuck with the human that first created the thought, feeling, and experience that created the symbol on the paper anyway.
Yeah,
and then, of course, if you want to turn that God into a Christian God or a Chinese God or whatever God you want to turn it into, that's up to you. But it all derived from our thoughts, our feelings, and experiences. And if you do good thoughts, feelings, and experiences, you're going to create good symbols to describe them. If you do bad things, or you want to blame some mean old crappy guy like the devil for all the stuff that you do, you can use that symbol to blame all your bullshit on.
Yeah. Hey, Joseph, we've only got an hour-long show, and I think we're going to have to move on to some other callers.
I mean, we appreciate you wanting to get all that out, and thanks everything, but we are limited for time. But yeah, but thanks a bunch.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
We still need to see if these phones work, but feel free again.
Obviously they work.
Well, but they may not work for every line. We still don't know yet. So
yeah. Anyway, see you.
Yeah. So, but thanks for calling.
I can't hear you guys that well. Anyway, hey guys, thanks for letting me on. I mean, I might call it some other time. They'd be able to talk. So.
All right. See you later. And I do think it's important not to confuse the concept of a thing with the thing itself.
Yeah, because, the map is not the place.
You know, if I say, like, my cat, you know, the written word "my cat" is based on a concept that I have of my cat. But the cat itself actually maps out to something that exists in the real world, and this is kind of a confusion that I think a lot of people have with God, especially when they say things like, you know, oh, the very fact that you're talking about God means that you understand what it is, and therefore it must exist. And it's like, no, we have real and imaginary concepts, and what we're really trying to get at here as atheists is, does the concept of God map onto something that can be shown to be real? And you know, all the verbal hand waving about transcendental and physical stuff will not create that God out of whole cloth. Some evidence would be nice.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the very same question that I ask every Christian I talk to, which is, how can you demonstrate that the God you believe in is real and not simply something that exists in your imagination? I mean, and the key word there is demonstrate.
Right. And of course, when it comes to Ray Comfort, since our previous caller mentioned Ray Comfort has a $10,000 challenge, that's a challenge to convince Ray Comfort that evolution is real. And, you know, I would not attempt that. I would fail at that, definitely.
And all pleading for politeness aside, if you're getting your information about evolutionary biology from Ray Comfort, you're a freaking idiot, all right? Because Ray Comfort is a scientifically illiterate fool, and he's a liar. I mean, he's a deliberate, bald-faced liar. The point, he has had professional biologists, you know, well-known scientists explain to him in detail exactly how a certain concept in evolutionary biology works. And, and he turns right around and claims, no one's ever explained this thing.
Yeah, and it's not just...
So it's all about, you know, la, 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 I can't hear you with him. And he is patently dishonest. I mean,
it's not just that I require him to agree with me, that I require him to accept what scientists say, but when he hears what actual scientists say about how evolution is supposed to work, and then he says, oh, you know, science says that there should be a crocoduck.
Which of course it
then
does not.
He just doesn't understand what people are saying to him, and the fact that he thinks that the lack of a crocoduck proves that evolution doesn't work
there are no
means that he's
fossils.
just not freaking paying attention.
Yeah. The people who say there are no transitional fossils don't know what transitional fossils are. They think in terms of things like crocoduck. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for something that's like half fish and half person. But that's not what the theory says.
So, I mean, what I recommend, rather than watching some schmoes on TV, is to pick up a textbook or a popularized book from a scientist who explains how evolution works. Not because I want to make you believe that evolution works, but I would like you to be arguing against what evolution really says, which has converged to a particular explanation because it's science, and, and people tend to move towards agreement rather than 38,000 sects.
Sure, but it also comes down to, who are you going to listen to, right? I mean, who are you going to get your information about biology from? Actual biologists, or someone who is emphatically not a biologist but a preacher? You know, if something is wrong with your car, are you going to get an opinion from mechanics as to what's wrong with your car? Or are you going to talk to your tinfoil hat neighbor who says, well, I think it's the Illuminati teleporting gremlins under the hood of your car to make it all messed up?
I mean,
who are you going to take seriously?
I'm sure that the love of Jesus could heal my engine when it's not working. But frankly, I find it more reliable to take it to a mechanic who actually knows what he's doing and will actually take direct actions to fix the car rather than saying incantations to an invisible man in the sky.
So they're saying, if you think you have a legitimate criticism of a scientific theory, be sure to actually learn what the scientific theory actually is and what it actually says. Yeah, and don't just critique straw mans of it. But anyway, let's take another call.
Okay. I'm not sure whether to take this one or not.
Which one?
Number 2.
Well, I mean, just pick one.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. All right, Keith in Flemington, you're there.
We're so professional here.
Hello?
Keith?
You're on the air, if you can hear us or not.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I called in a couple weeks ago, and I spoke to one of you, I think, about the out-of-body experiences. And you know, I'm atheist as well, and this is the one thing that I have to say that I really struggle with a lot of. There's a lot of scientists that are actually putting together, not scientists but doctors, putting together projects to actually test out these theories because they're saying they're so overwhelming that they really don't feel that this is just an hallucination anymore. And I put together some sites. I don't know if you guys are able to check these out, or I was getting together an email to send to Matt based on there's projects going on and scientists that are actually looking into. I don't know if you have ever heard of Dr. Andrew Newmark. He's a neuroscientist.
That name rings a vague bell,
Grayson, and they have a lot of scientific theories, and they're actually taking it seriously on how life-changing a lot of this stuff has been for thousands of people. And if you just want one website, I don't want to take up so much of your time, there's one website, it's the International Association for Near-Death Studies, and it's IANDS.org. Like I said, I think the whole 9 yards, religion, the whole 9 yards. I just think it's all bogus. I really do, and I'm not for it. But when I look into this, and I'm completely coming from a non-biased standpoint, when I look into this stuff, it just seems so that like there's something there that's just Right.
Well, that is.
I would be. It would be stupid not to look into it. It just
Can I recommend a site for you in return?
I'm sorry?
Can I recommend a site for you in return?
Absolutely.
Skeptics Dictionary, skepdic.com, and Google and search it for near-death experiences and see what you come up with.
Right. But that apart, we don't deny that people have experiences that are strange and inexplicable and that are life-changing. Just because an experience is life-changing doesn't mean that it is an experience necessarily rooted in reality. It could just be something that went on. I mean, if that were the case, right, then you would have to say, well, religion changes people's lives, therefore the religion must be true. So there has to be a greater body of actual tangible evidence that can be studied. Now, we do know that the experience of the out-of-body experience has been replicated through electrical stimulation of a part of the brain called the angular gyrus, which would seem to indicate that there's a lot of it that's neurochemical, right? And it's just like when people would trip out on LSD and they say, oh, I've had this amazing spiritual experience with a no, you had a chemical experience, right? I mean, brain chemistry, you can mess with it and it can do some amazing stuff and alter your perception of reality. So what we need to get to the bottom of is what's happening in an out-of-body experience happening in reality, or is it simply the individual's perception of reality being skewed by, something going on with their brain chemistry? Now, either way, it can be a life-changing event, but a life-changing event doesn't necessarily prove that it's not just all in the mind.
Right.
So